At it again, and what I'm about to show you guys is absolutely laughable. I mean, it's so terrible that it almost seems fake and scripted, but it isn't, unfortunately, right? What I'm about to show you is a video of Jared Bernstein. Hopefully I'm saying his name correct. Yeah, Bernstein, who is an advisor on the economy to Joe Biden. He advises Joe Biden on the economy. He's part of like a council, right? And he's like the lead of the council on advising Joe Biden on the economy. This is from a documentary called Finding the Money. If you guys want to check it out, check out the full documentary for yourself. I'm sure you probably won't after you see this clip, though. And what he's asked... I'm just going to show you the video. I'm not going to spoil it. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And if you are wondering why things are going down the toilet, this may be a reason too. Let's dive in.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, I mean, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Like that is laughable. That is terrible. Ah, man. Wow. Here's another clip of the same guy, though. You know, I just want to show you guys this. This is...
But in terms of a time frame, Jared, if people try to look ahead and plan for their futures and budget for things like groceries and those tangible sort of everyday goods, what should they be looking at if there is any kind of potential time frame in mind? If the president is reelected, how long would it take for prices to come down?
Well, again, I think one of the things we can look at is numbers like those in the jobs report today. I mean, one of the things we saw in this job report is that if you look at the share of women working in the workforce, the employment rate, that's the highest it's ever been.
But in terms of a time...
What? Huh? How long would it take for prices to come down? And that was your answer? Wow. When you got people like that working in your administration on such a big, important thing, it's no surprise that, you know, the economy is absolutely garbage. And you start getting headlines like this.
Home buyers beware. Mortgages are getting more expensive. One day after the Fed left interest rates unchanged, the average rate on a 30-year mortgage jumped to more than 7.2%. That's the highest in more than 5 months. And this comes at a bad time for buyers. More than a third of all home sales each year come between March and June.
It's not shocking. It's not shocking at all. Neither is this.
Governor of Michigan announces that the NFL Draft has set an attendance record with more than 700,000 fans attending the event in Detroit. Winning! I'm of course being sarcastic. Listen to this.
What does the emperor do when the people become restive? People are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor, he sends them to the circus, builds a giant coliseum, and he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world.
See, they make sure to keep us distracted so we don't pay attention to what they're actually doing. We're reminded by our leaders that our economy's great, everything's doing fine. We've created 1 billion jobs, when in actuality things like this are taking place. Check this out. Did you know companies like Dollar Tree are closing 600 stores this year? CVS closing 900, Walgreens closing 150, Outback Steakhouse closed 40, UPS is cutting 12,000 jobs in 2024, Citigroup cutting 20,000, eBay thousands of jobs lost, Microsoft cutting 1,900, Expedia cutting 1,500, Cisco cutting 4,000, Apple cutting 600, Regal Cinemas closing 429 locations, Kroger grocery store shutting down 413, Foot Locker closing 400 by 2026, Macy's closing 150 by 2026, and Walmart has closed 6 of its supercenters. So while they try to convince us that everything's fine and the economy's booming and there are thousands and thousands of jobs being created and try to keep us distracted with the circus, there are some really serious things taking place in our country that we might want to pay just a little bit of attention to.
100% correct. 100% correct. And you know, if the economy was great, you wouldn't have to tell us it was great. You know, we would feel it. We would know it. There'd be extra cash in our pockets. Homes would actually be affordable. But, you know, you vote for this and you just continue to get stories like these and this one.
Coates says the pantry serves a variety of people, the elderly, the disabled, and to the surprise of some, middle-class families making between $50,000 and $120,000 a year.
Because Northern Virginia, you're not paying no less than like $1,900 a month for your place. So by the time you add in food costs between the two, you're already out like $3,500 to $4,500.
Olivia Simmons is one of those visitors, a public school employee who says she always puts her students first, even when she doesn't have money to spare.
A lot of these kids, they know me, but I'm in high school, so they're always like, Miss Simmons, do you have a snack? Do you have something to drink?
At home, she's a mom taking care of her family, including a daughter with autism and a husband who suffers from mental illness.
We're just like barely staying afloat. We're always like a paycheck away from losing it all.
Coates.
You know, it's not funny, but it is at the same, like, it's so terrible it's funny. Like, how could things be this bad? Oh my goodness. I guess I shouldn't ask how things could be that bad, because we saw who's advising Joe Biden.
Inflation numbers, they are not fine.
Inflation, while down from 40-year highs just a couple of years ago, remains stubborn. Those consumer prices we all pay, up nearly 3.5%, a bigger jump than just 3 months ago, taking its toll on Christy Coughlin and her family in Bend, Oregon.
You're a registered dietitian. Food is your life. So how have your grocery shopping habits changed?
We've decided to use the 1-bag rule or 2 bags. We'll fill them. And once those bags are full, then we'll walk out. It really eliminates impulse buys.
Inflation numbers, they are not.
Wow. That is absolutely insane. Insane. I just have a question, guys. Can we please, I'm begging you, can we please bring this back?
I am thrilled to report to you tonight that our economy is the best it has ever been. Under my administration, 7 million Americans have come off food stamps and 10 million people have been lifted off of welfare.
Can we bring the orange fella back, please, so we can have more announcements like that? This is just absolutely ridiculous at this point. The guy can't, oh my goodness. Wow. Jerry Byrne. I would love to know, where did Joe Biden find some of these folks? Where find these folks. Like, you could have just hired me to be the lead of, you know, what was the board that he was on? The chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. You could have hired me for that. I'll take a check. I'd probably do better than he does. Goodness gracious, at least I've got some common darn sense. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. That almost seemed scripted, didn't it? I know. It's crazy. It is crazy. But as always, man, we got to get the Orange fella back, man. I just any more of this is just absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. The prices of everything is just through the roof while they're telling us, oh, the economy is great. We've created all these new jobs, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, you had Nancy Pelosi just the other day get angry when Katie Tur, an MSNBC host, corrected her misinformation, you know, because Democrats love talking about misinformation, got angry and called her a Trump apologist for stating facts. Because Nancy Pelosi said, oh, well, Joe Biden, he's created so many jobs and Donald Trump lost a bunch of jobs. He had the worst jobs record ever. And Katie Tur was like, well, there was a global pandemic that was out of his control. And she absolutely lost it. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go and check it out. It's right here on the channel. But yeah, wow. Wow, guys. We got to get this thing back on the right track. You got people advising Biden that have no clue what they're even talking about. Oh, my goodness. Peace and love, family. I'm out.